All right, Kristen.
All right,
Now
Victor.
hear me out. Got a
Mm.
little something different. It's not a question, but you know,
It's on,
throwing a little curveball in
only answers.
there. So you're familiar with Am I the Asshole?
I don't know. Are you an asshole?
No, so it's a pretty popular thing. There's like a whole podcast dedicated to it. But it's like a Reddit channel called
Okay.
Am I the Asshole? And people just kind of go in there and kind of explain the story and trying to get the the public to decide whether they're the asshole or not. People get when they need reassurance
Okay. I understand.
to
I understand.
back up their actions. So I mean it's not like am I the asshole? I punched my brother in the face for no reason.
Well,
It's
yeah,
usually
you are
something
the
more
asshole. Like, like,
it's
if
usually
that's the
something more
case, then yes.
right? It's usually something more like complex and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read it and then we just kind of talk about it, see if this guy's an asshole and go from there.
Okay.
Follow
Sounds
along?
good to me.
All right. All right, so
Yes.
am I the asshole for not there it is, guys. Is Kristen the asshole for keep interrupting me? Comment
Yes.
down below. Nah, I'm just kidding. Am I the asshole for not wanting to pay for my daughter's wedding, even though I said that I will? That's what it's titled. I'm gonna go ahead and read the story. I have two daughters, one 28, another one at 23. My eldest daughter got married 2 years ago. I paid for the whole thing. My youngest daughter recently got engaged and plans on having her wedding on spring. As I said, I paid for my eldest daughter's at her wedding, was something that she wanted and was sure about. She and her husband had been together since she was 20. They known each other, and I think he's a good man. However, my youngest daughter's fiance is a way older man, 46, who I couldn't even believe my daughter was dating. He's got a divorce and has kids that are teenagers. I disapproved this relationship even ever since my daughter introduced us to her boyfriend. Me and my oldest daughter tried speaking to her about how creepy her boyfriend is, but she has said that she's an adult and can date anyone she likes.
She's not
When she
wrong.
announced when she announced her engagement, she asked if I was going to pay for her wedding too, as I promised. I told her that I would not because she knows I don't approve this relationship. I remember her that she told us that she's an adult and can do whatever she wants. That's okay. Then she needs to face the adult consequences of her actions. If she wants to marry, then she needs to pay for it. That's it. I told her once again that this is a mistake, but she called me an asshole and claimed I was favoring my oldest daughter because I had said nothing about her fiance. I explained why her sister's relationship was different, but she didn't want to hear me. My parents think that I need to support her to show her that I love her, and if she realizes later that she made a mistake, she can trust me to support her then. I am unsure about that. I think that since she doesn't want to listen to my advice, that she shouldn't feel entitled to my money. She knows how much I love her, but that doesn't mean I have to be supportive of her poor choices. And then he adds a little note saying that some people are confused. I am a man. And then he goes on saying they have been dating for about 6 to 7 months and they met in college. My daughter is a student and he was a basketball coach. So thoughts?
I'm gonna let you trigger. I want to hear your thoughts first. I always give my thoughts first, my 2 cents. I want to hear what you got to say.
My bad. No, you know, for the most part, I was kind of agreeing with him. The only part that I'm kind of skeptical, I'm really not too sure how I feel yet, is where he talks about like his parents saying um that he needs to support her so that later if she realizes that this was a mistake, she can like go to him. Because if she doesn't feel like she can go to him and it feels like betrayed, whenever if this relationship fails, then she's gonna feel like she has nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which you wouldn't want your daughter to be in that situation. Um, I mean, I do get it too. I mean, weddings are pretty expensive. Um, but it seems like it doesn't seem like money's an issue for this guy. Um, so I want to say yes, but I want to say I know I always go wishy-washy, but if I have to give a definite answer, I'm gonna say no.
No,
I'm
he's
gonna
not
say
the
no.
asshole.
He's not the asshole.
Okay.
It's a little, it's not like being, he's a little, it's almost there, but I wouldn't say quite there for me, at least.
Yeah. I will go ahead and say no, he's not an asshole. There are some asshole tendencies. Don't get me wrong. I understand the whole viewpoint. I think the only solid viewpoint is the fact that she did say like, I feel like you supported,
Hmm.
the sister's wedding. I
Or
mean, the sister's relationship, but you don't support mine's. But that's the whole point of getting to meet the parents. They're not going to always like everybody you're with. Um,
hmm.
and him paying is a privilege. It's not a guarantee at the end of the day. So even though he says he will, he can take that back at any time.
Hmm.
Especially if they know that the person, hey, we've told you we don't like to do. We told you these are the reasons we don't like him. And if that's who you decide to be with, then that's fine. But just know that you won't get my support on that end because of it is my money at the end of the day.
Correct.
Um, I think as long as communication is there, I can't. It's kind of hard to say you're an asshole for communicating.
Hmm.
It'd be different if he was just like flat out didn't say nothing about he didn't like the boyfriend and he just didn't say anything, and it was just like then that would be something totally different. Um, and he didn't give a reason or nothing, but he
Right.
he he, he gave out a plan of like this is the reasons why I
And
don't like
yeah,
this
he
guy.
tried. Got
And
his sister to kind of help out too and everything.
exactly. So I think it's it's easy to say to be like, yeah, I don't really picture him being an asshole in this situation, just for that reason. Like, it's your money, you communicate it, you just say what you need to say about it, and yeah, you know, I can't be mad at it, and they only been together for 6 months. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
right.
pay for a
I was,
marriage here for the 6 month relationship.
right. I mean, and you could tell like obviously this guy cares about his daughter, like trying to lead her in the right direction, kind of open up her eyes. And then like just imagine, he pays for this wedding and then like what, a year later they get divorced. Is
two
he gonna
weeks
have to pay for
later,
the next wedding or what?
2 weeks later. I be like, look, I'm only paying for one. So
Right.
if you want to use it on this BS, what you call it? All right.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying totally. It's kind of, I mean, for the daughter, the youngest daughter, it does kind of suck. Like I said, with the whole once it fails, she's gonna feel betrayed. And
Yeah,
honestly, I wonder if this dad's still gonna show up or not to the wedding. I'm sure he will. I don't think he'll go that far not to show up.
yeah. I don't think he's like shunning her from the family. He's just saying, hey,
Hmm.
I don't support it in that way of like I'm going to take care or pay for it.
Hmm.
And which I can understand if my sibling or not sibling, if my say for instance Kayla's dad didn't like me and he didn't want to pay, I would understand that. Like I can't get mad if he doesn't like me, especially if he has a solid reason to not like me. If I'm going around beating his daughter every day, I can't expect for him to pay the wedding. Like it's just that's not how that works. you know,
No, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah, so.
is that the only one, or is there another one on there?
No, I mean, there's a whole Reddit page of it. I can grab another one if you like, but that's the only one I have planned today.
Okay. Well, if you want to stop there, that's fine. You know. If,
Yeah, we can just go on with the podcast. I know we
okay.
got a lot to catch up on and stuff.
I feel like you said we have a lot to catch up on, but I feel like we're gonna go through this pretty quick, and you'll be like, "Dang, okay."
Then we'll edit another one in.
I'm dead. But all right, I guess you ready to hop in the podcast?
Let's do it.
All right, getting the podcast started in 3, 2, 1. What up, everybody? This is your boy Chris,
And this is Vic.
and welcome to Now Hear Me Out. This is episode number 86, and welcome to the podcast. If you're listening now, make sure you click on that like, subscribe button, and click on that bell notification so every time we post, you get notified. All right, Vic, it's been a long 2 weeks that was since we done had this podcast. Tell me what's going on.
Oh shit, what did we miss? We missed Super Bowl, Valentine's Day. We'll save the Super Bowl for a little later.
Okay.
In our quick mentions, but Valentine's Day, and Leslie had school that day on a Tuesday, so she got out like at 8. Really couldn't do much, so we just kind of went to out to eat at Olive Garden.
Okay.
Uh, and I was like Saturday we'll kind of have a little family day. So when Saturday came around, we went to the aquarium, took Ava to the aquarium. She's over here saying hi to all the animals.
First time.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm And then we went to we went to another restaurant, local like a local restaurant there in San Antonio.
Hmm.
It's pretty good with it was like they had pretty good margaritas, like pretty good decent size for only like $10. Food was bomb. Had a good time. We went home, drank a little bit more after we put Ava to sleep. Um, so yeah, overall that was just a good day, good family day.
Okay.
And then Monday President's Day, so I had to go celebrate the presidents.
I'm dead. What did you do to celebrate President's Day, bro?
Bro, I just went thrifting because I was off my job. I had the day off. So there's a thrift store like literally like down the street, and I thought they had a sale going on, 50% off. I was like, I bet it's a good time to get some inventory.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it opens at 9. Let me try to get there as early as I can because this whole gets crowded. And so I go, I find some good stuff, and then when I'm checking out, once I'm checking out, the lady hands me another flyer. She said, this is our next sale on St. Patrick's Day. And then I noticed I noticed the hours said like 5 a.m. I was like, is that the time y'all open like for sales? She's like, yep. So apparently they open at 5 a.m.
Oh wow.
I was like, Jesus, people take this serious. But catch me there at 5 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will be there too.
It's literally like down the street. But so yeah, I went to that thrift store. I went to like thrift stores that day. Pretty good. I had a good. It was nice to.
Some good finds.
Yeah. Let's see. Besides that, Ava, she's growing every day. She's getting into that like toddler stage where like she'll like you clean up something and 5 minutes later it's dirty again, stuff everywhere. Like we'll feed her and then we'll start eating and then she'll see that we're eating, so she's gonna want our food. And she and then she's also to the point where if she don't like something, she'll put it in her mouth and just like so she's starting to be picky.
She's starting to get that character.
Yeah, but she's we've been like having to walk more like outside. So it's been nice like just just getting she's getting big now. And it's funny 'cause I feel like I don't know if it's me being like I don't know, I guess egotistic or whatever, but because Leslie's always like surprised and like, oh wow, she can say uh-oh or hi or she's waving. It's like she's doing such a good job for her age. I'm like, for me, I don't know why, but I feel like I kind of just expected it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
I can see that. It's like I feel like she's doing what she should be doing at this age, like picking up on words and signals. And
right. I mean, I get it because I see like some other babies. I don't want to say they're like
he said dumb.
dumb or anything, but babies, they grow when they at their own pace. There's nothing wrong with that.
He's like, but mine is just smarter.
But I expected mine to be the best anyway, so but besides that, today I was working first job or first time not being shadow, so that was nice.
Okay.
It was funny though because our lights went out, and like in the middle of the day, obviously that makes the power or the internet go out, so we're not able to work. And then it's funny because once Leslie realized that the power is out and it's gonna be a while, she was just trying to have like a field day. She was like, "Oh, we can go outside for a walk with Ava." Then we go ahead and take a shower. She's over here trying to have like the day off and whatnot. And then like 20 minutes later, the light comes on. She's in the middle of a shower, like, bro, let's get back to work.
Got calls.
And even though it's kind of like, I guess, cause we're kind of on the honor system
Yeah.
since we work from home. It's like they don't know when the lights come back
Oh,
on.
okay. Well,
But still, her job's kind of weird because like they won't for instance, like her PTO, she has something called emergency PTO,
mhm.
which she can use if an emergency comes up. But apparently she has to give 24-hour notice to that.
What? How does that work?
It's like, that makes no sense.
How
Yeah,
they said, what's the point of emergency notice if I can't give it to you on emergencies?
right. It's like my car broke down. I'm expecting
I'm
my car to
expecting
break
my car to
down.
break down in 24 hours. So go ahead and jot that down. That's
Yeah,
wild.
I low key be just hating her job and how they are with like PTO and this thing called flex time. I don't know. It's too much for me. But besides that, like I said, that's pretty much it. I mean, Super Bowl was a big part of it, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Okay, okay.
What you got? What's your updates?
So as you guys know, we weren't here last week because of Valentine's Day. Um, so Valentine's Day, we decided not to do anything big. We told us we're going to do stuff, keep things a little smaller on a smaller scale, just because of the trips we got coming up and planned. So we ended up going to this place, which I said small, but at the same time, we went to pretty pricey. Well, I won't say really pricey, but we went to this seafood boil place to get some seafood that we like. It's like up the street from our house. So we got that, came back home, ate at home, and then what else we do? Got each other little gifts. My gift, it's funny because I have a friend who made some like she was making like a Valentine's Day basket, and I put an order in for it like a couple weeks ago, and then the lady messaged me. She was like, "Hey, are you still picking up the basket?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that." So I had already asked Kayla like what else what does she want, because we kind of just asked each other like what you want, what do you want, and she told me what she wanted. So I got what she wanted, plus I had the basket, so it was like okay, cool. Which wasn't even a basket; it was more like one of those giant balloons. It had a bear, some
Yeah.
candy. It was really cool how she put it together, but she got that. I got these little whiskey. She gave me these little whiskey glasses that had these little ice ball makers. Yeah, so she got me that as well, and yeah, we just chilled and had a good time. It was pretty cool. Super Bowl, of course, that was before Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then that following Friday was Faith's birthday, so we went to that at Jekyll's, Dr. Jekyll's. It
Hmm.
was pretty cool. They all played and sung, and it was cool. And then Saturday, I'm sorry, I'm trying to recap everything. No, so Thursday, is that this Thursday or last Thursday? Jesus Christ. What was his last past Friday? It was
Last
the
past.
17th, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So on the Thursday, me and Kayla was kind of like spontaneous. We was just like, hey, let's go to Corpus this weekend. And we were just like, okay. And because I had a 3-day weekend, she didn't technically have one, but at the same time she did. It was, we ended up going out. And so Friday went to Face Thing, and then Saturday morning got up, drove to Corpus, called a couple friends up there. They was cool with
Nice.
us staying with them, and went out there. It was funny because they told us they were going to be busy all Saturday. We're like, okay, that's fine. Like we'll find stuff to do. We get there. We go to like an hour away. They're like, text us when you're an hour away. Cool. Kayla texts them we're an hour away. No reply. We're like, okay, well let's just go to Whataburger, and we're gonna go to Whataburger and just go eat by the beach. No biggie. Get the Whataburger. We sit down. They're like, hey, we're home, and so we pack up our Whataburger, go to their house. They were there for like an hour. We just talked and stuff like that. They left, and then we ended up leaving to go to some restaurants with some of her friends out there, and then came back. Went to church on Sunday, and hung out with our hosts and stuff like that. Had a really good time, and then came back Monday, and here we are.
Here we are. Well, nice. Seems like you had a good time.
Yeah, it was cool. It's cool. We had a good time. The only thing that sucks is that when we was at Corpus, we didn't actually get to go see the beach. So that was the only downfall. But we still had a great time out there.
That's all that matters. But yeah, I guess everybody got into these stories.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, so Super Bowl. Let's talk about it.
Okay,
You happy with the results? How you feeling?
I'm cool with the results.
Same. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I kind of mentioned before, like I didn't really know who I wanted to win, but once it started, I was like, yeah, I'm going for the Chiefs. Like I cannot go for the Eagles at all.
That's
Like when
how
they were winning,
that's
when
how I
they were
feel.
winning, I was like, bro, My blood pressure kind of high right now.
Exactly, and and don't get me wrong, man. I give it up to Jalen Hurts, man. He really did an outstanding job. First year in the Super Bowl. He was completing all his passes. He had a couple. There's a lot of botched calls that
Mhm.
the Eagles definitely got away with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That freaking fumble, that catching fumble that they got
Oh
away.
yeah,
I was like,
bro,
bro, that man
bro.
obviously caught that ball and fumbled it. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. There got to be something like, I don't know. There got to be a way to overturn, um, a, like they have to, like, say for instance, I feel like if a ref on the field calls something, I feel like there should be a different color flag, like that you could throw. We already got the red challenge flag for challenging. Well, I guess technically it's like challenging calls that are how would
Like
you?
not penalties.
Yeah, that
Like
aren't penalties. So
yeah,
you got that, but at the same time, I feel like there should be a penalty call. Like I should throw a green flag or something. Well, not a green one. Obviously, you can't throw green. What color should it be? Blue.
uh, blue's fine. I think blue's good.
Blue. So it should be like a blue flag for whenever you challenge their call, and then it goes up to like they always talk about the people in New York. It goes up to the people in New York, and they review it themselves, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's overturn that call, and go from there. I feel like they need to add something like that because sometimes these calls they make are just outlandish.
No, I mean I get you completely, and it's like I think we had a little story about that where like a lot of sports is relying on the human eye, and
Yeah,
when we have all this technology, like there's something that can be done. I'm not sure exactly which way is the best way to approach it, but there's definitely something that could be done to, because like we don't want to, you don't want the outcome of a game to be determined by like a bad call.
of course.
And, it's always hard. Players and teams always say, one play doesn't win a game or anything, so they can't really like say on that. But still, like at the end of the day, you don't want a bad call to affect any part of the game, really.
Exactly. And one play doesn't affect the game, but sometimes it does. It has happened plenty of times. Now, I know a lot of people were not happy about that last call on the Chiefs or on the Eagles.
Oh, the holding call.
Yeah. I was like, hey, he did hold him, regardless if he even admitted at the end, like, yeah, I held him. I just didn't think they were going to call it.
Did you see what Juju tweeted?
I saw what he tweeted, but I didn't really like read it.
It was on Valentine's Day, and it was like it was a picture of the guy that got the holding call,
Uh,
and it was like I'll hold you when it matters most.
uh, I'm dead.
And then AJ Brown went after him and called him TikTok boy and whatnot. You know how that big, but it's funny,
Hey, at the end of the day, there's only one winner.
right? How do you feel about the whole brother versus brother thing? Like,
I feel
how
like
did how
one I feel like it was forced, and then two it was kind of lackluster because Travis Kelce was not a factor in that game whatsoever.
right?
So he had a couple catches, but that was it. Honestly, Juju did a lot more than he did,
hmm
and it's Juju.
Well, how would you feel like playing against like your brother in such a high level, and knowing that he lost, but you like won? Would you feel sympathy for him,
Ultimate
or you
bragging
like,
rights, bro. I feel like as a honestly, I feel like there's no loser. You know what I mean? Like if I win, we win. Um, that's just how it is. If they win, technically I win too. Like you're my brother at the end of the day. So I can only feel happy for you. Obviously, I would feel sympathy for the person who lost, but hey, it's a loss. You take it on the chin, and you keep moving forward. They're both very dominant players, and it just sucks that I would have liked to see like one person on offense, one person on defense type thing. I think that would have been cool.
oh yeah, yeah,
But they're
I
both
get what
playing
you're saying,
offenses, so it's like they're going against each other, but they're not going against each other.
right? I get
Yeah,
what you're saying. Like we got one, you got a tight end and a center. Like
yeah.
they are
It's
never
just
gonna interact with each other.
unless they
So yeah,
just
I could,
throw him in as throw what's his name in as edge rusher.
right? But and I guess last question about the Super Bowl. How you feel about Patrick Mahomes? Like you feel like he's already like if he could retire right now, would you put him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Patrick Mahomes has made a lane for himself that I don't think anybody will ever touch.
mhm.
His uniqueness and his way to make the ball, like he's just very what's the word? Like he can do a lot. I can't think of the word in my head, but
He's good
dude,
at football.
yeah, he's just honestly he's like a jack of all trades, bro. Like the dude can run when he needs to run. Shoot, even with the messed up ankle, he was still running. Um,
Hmm.
throwing those crazy balls that I don't feel like anybody else can emulate or imitate. It was just dude's a beast.
I
Um,
know he really is. I feel like he's undisputed number one in the league. I mean, like I mentioned last time, how people like he's the golden child that can't do no wrong.
yeah,
But you gotta give him some respect. I mean, he does
he's
amazing
making it
things.
work.
So
He's 27. He already got two Super Bowls. What more can you ask for from him? Is the dude's doing? He's a threat. You know what I mean? Patrick Mahomes out there is a threat. He's up there with with freaking Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, where you can't feel comfortable with just a touchdown over them because they can come
right,
back and wreak havoc in a millisecond. And you're just like, dang, like I thought we had this in the bag. No, because he
like
was
he's like general managers when they're making the team or making moves. They're like, okay, how can we compete with Patrick Mahomes if we got to face him? Because
exactly.
there's a there's a high probability whether in playoffs or in Super Bowl that once it comes down to it, we're gonna have to beat him.
Yep,
So
and he's become that name, man. Even when you feel like you
he,
got a lead on them, they just somehow find a way to come back. They get that rhythm. Rhythm helps any team, honestly.
mhm,
But whenever they get that rhythm, it's crazy. Like on paper, the Eagles should have won that game. Like on paper, they should have won. They had like twice the possession time. They had like twice the yards. It was like ridiculous, like on paper how they looked, but they just, the defense on the Chiefs was doing their thing. They should have had two touchdowns, only had one. Um, and it's just wild, man.
it is wild, honestly. But let's talk about the halftime show. Riri, how you feel about it?
It was okay. And I'm gonna say it was okay, and not even because she was pregnant and that she wasn't really dancing that much, but just for the fact that it wasn't no wow factor. Like the only wow factor was the fact that she's risking her child by
She way
standing
up
on
there.
these platforms that are unnecessarily high. That was my only like okay, like chill out. But the whole like sperm cells running around, dancing and stuff. It was all right, man. Obviously, she's pregnant. She couldn't do too much, but it just wasn't nothing wild, man. I would have hoped that she would have came out with at least like a new song, unreleased song that could blow people out the window. Like, man, I ain't heard this song before. But man, she played all the songs out the top Billboard, and it's like that's cool and everything. But man, show me something new. Like Rihanna, you been around for how long? Give me a new song. Just
No, I know.
yeah.
Did you? So, did you know she was pregnant once you first saw her, or like?
We kept being very skeptical. It was kind of like sometimes we're like, I think she's pregnant, and then sometimes it's like, nah, she ain't said nothing about being pregnant, and then we're like, yeah, she's pregnant. And it was just like a lot of back and forth on whether or not
Yeah,
she's pregnant.
like, because as soon as this show started, it was like my parents like, "Is she pregnant?" I was like, "No, she just had a baby." She like honestly, I thought it was
Literally,
just
everybody
like
said the same thing. It was like she
I
just
just
had a baby.
thought it was like the weight from the last pregnancy, or whatever. Like, um, and then it's like, no, she's not pregnant. And I kept looking, it's like,
She might
and then
be.
like later, and then later she confirmed it and everything, and I was like, oh, she ASAP did not wait. He said,
Right? And then they were kind of like saying like Kayla had pointed out, she's like, yeah, she was like rubbing her belly at the very beginning. I was like, shit, I didn't notice
hmm
that, but yeah, she was rubbing her belly at the front beginning. Supposedly she put out a tweet like way before, like a week ago or something like that, like saying she's bringing a special guest with her. Um,
uh,
yeah. So
were you expecting any like surprise guest besides the baby?
a part of me was like was wondering if she was gonna bring somebody out, but a bigger part of me was like I knew she wasn't because she's already a headliner as herself, and people were so excited to see her that it didn't make sense to bring anybody in because she already was doing so much. Like, bringing so many. She brought so many people to watch the Super Bowl who didn't even care about the Super Bowl.
For real.
And they literally.
I was gonna say, me and Leslie were like trying to figure out what we were the whole day. We were trying to figure out. Okay, she's gonna start off with this song. No, she's gonna start off with this song. Leslie had it right. I swear she's gonna start off with the "Please Don't Stop the Music."
Oh yeah, that would have
Like,
been good too. That'd have been good. I definitely thought she was gonna start off Umbrella.
I honestly didn't think she'd start off with "Bitch Better Have My
Bitch better have my money. I didn't see that either, but like it was funny because it's just like bitch you better have my. I was like,
I
okay,
was
like you trying to make a statement.
I know, right? She's coming out here, first word being a curse word and everything. I was like, all right, you do you.
You do you.
But it's a good show.
She had to pay to be there.
I will say, I did have to walk out of the show a little bit. 'Cause, right when the show started, you could kind of tell that Ava was like, she had a dirty diaper. I was like, bro, she can wait till after the show. But then like, I was over here getting dad shamed because Troy was holding on to her, and like, cause he don't care about Rihanna, whatever. But I was like, she smells bad. I was like, yeah, she has a dirty diaper. It's like, well, then change her. What are you doing? I was like, bro, Rihanna's on. So, anyways, I got shamed and having changed her diaper before the show ended. As soon as I came back, the show was over. I was like, bro.
You should be like, Troy, you go be an uncle, bro, and go change your
That's what I'm saying. Right? Like, I know you don't care about me.
I know you don't care about football. You don't care about why are you here?
Who are you?
Why are you here?
But on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your final grade, I guess?
On her performance?
Yeah.
A strong 7. I mean, a strong 6.
Strong 6?
Yeah. It was nothing that wowed me, but it was like, it's still Rihanna.
No, I definitely agree. I'd probably give it a 7. Yeah. But let us know what you guys think. Comment down below. Just how you feel about the Super Bowl, how you feel about the halftime show, and just everything.
Yep.
But hopping into our first story. Speaking of Super Bowl, did you guys freak out when that commercial came on?
The fucking Tubi commercial, bro. It was the most perfect, annoying commercial. It was just like, I swear, it had everybody in probably America watching that. That was like, well, where's the remote at? Because it just happened out of nowhere. Yes, I remember that Tubi commercial.
Yeah, bro. I was like, honestly, everyone was like, there's a couple of babies over there when we were watching it, and I swear, I was like, oh, Ava grabbed the remote because she if she sees the remote, she's going after it. She's changing the channel so many times on us when we're watching something. So I was like, oh, this is nothing new, but it's Super Bowl, so we had to get back to it real quick. So they definitely got us. I thought it was pretty clever.
It was.
I mean, I don't think many people are running Tubi now, but
yeah, it definitely didn't. It didn't scream, "Go watch Tubi." It was more like, this is more of a reason not to get Tubi because we were very upset that it ended up on Tubi.
Right. And then the movie they like advertised was Mr. and Mrs. Smith or whatever.
Right.
I was like, okay, like
freaking 2009 movie.
I got. Do better. But as everyone else is freaking out, as you can imagine, there was a woman that revealed that she broke up with her boyfriend because of the way he reacted to this commercial.
There was a lot of people that had issues with the commercial.
Right. So a Reddit post, which has since been taken down, reveals the story about what happened to the couple on the night of the Super Bowl. Let's see. My boyfriend thought I was the one changing the channel and began screaming at me violently, calling me things that I don't even want to write down. Even as I told him it was a commercial, he ignored me and kept blowing up at me and punched a hole in our living room wall.
Dang. I don't know if it's that serious.
He eventually realized what actually happened and awkwardly apologized, but I was so disgusted over his reaction to a 15-second commercial. I feel like if you can't keep your anger in check and get that violent over something so small, I don't want to be around you for it. We've been together for over a year, living together for the past 2 months, and I've known him to get angry at things sometimes. But this really took me off guard, and I can't forget how unsafe I felt around him during this time.
Mm-mm.
The woman said that her parents believe she is overreacting, and her boyfriend is messaging and calling her repeatedly. She goes on to say, "I don't think it's normal to be that angry." And then, people were reacting to it, saying one person said, "I'm glad to see a young woman seeing a red flag for exactly what it is and doing the right thing. I am sad her parents are trying to urge her to betray herself. I am delighted she is this wise." So, what do you feel about that? How you feel about that?
Oh man, I think she's 100% good with that. Like I think that's just it's a super overreaction. Even if say for instance it did accidentally get changed to Tubi, man, just change it back. It ain't gonna kill you. That Super Bowl
Right.
wasn't like to die for. Um, but yeah, I think that was a red flag that I feel like she caught early. Oh well, kind of early, and hey, you gotta sometimes you just gotta take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, biggest game of the year, whatever. I think this guy was an Eagles fan, but I'm not 100% sure. But at the same time, it's like it was the commercial. Uh, it wasn't like showing like in the middle of a play or anything. It was like the
Exactly, it's
commentator
the
talking.
commentators.
And so for him to go punch a hole in the wall and start calling her names and stuff like that, like I think she made the right move. It does kind of suck what this other girl was saying, how like her parents are like saying she's overreacting. I mean, but people can put it on a show for others, and like, but once you see the actual true colors, like you gotta hold on to that and be like, do I really want to be with this person or not?
Yeah, especially
And
punching a
so,
hole in the wall, bro. Like that, I understand. Even if you got mad, you yelled at her or whatever like that, and then you came back, apologized. Okay, cool. But to punch a hole in the wall
hmm
in 15 seconds, like that shit went right back in 15 seconds. It's just, yeah, it was that's a bad red flag. Yeah. There was a guy who had to apologize to his mother in law because he called her a bitch because of that commercial. And I was just like, man, these people out here, like, they serious about this. Like, that commercial really was out here destroying relationships and
right.
causing turmoil in families. It's wild.
It is wild. I mean, they got us good though. I will say that. But just don't do it again
Yeah.
to me.
How many people are actually watching Tubi now? After
Right?
y'all found out that they have a 10 plus year old movie in their archive,
Can't get it anywhere else, bro. That's the only place you can watch it.
they said, we're going to get them with this one, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It's an OG, a classic,
Could have at least been Dodgeball.
right? One of the greatest movies ever made,
Ever made.
ever. Still holds up today.
It really does.
Uh, but let us know what you guys think about that. Did you guys fall for the commercial? Do you think this girl reacted properly, or did she overreacting? Just comment below, leave us some comments. But hopping into the next story. Let me ask you this: when's the last time you've been to a movie theater? It's been a minute, huh?
Yeah, I would say, dang, what's the last movie I watched, bro? I want to say we watched the movie last year, but I really
Was
can't remember what movie we watched.
mm, I can't even. Let's see. I know I saw Spider-Man in. That's still what, like 2 years ago? Or was that like last year?
Could have been. I think that was last year. No Way Home, right?
Yeah,
Or
I think that was 2 years ago. Bro, time be flying. We get old.
yeah, we are. We are.
But anyways, it's no. Everyone kind of knows that movie theaters kind of that whole industry is kind of struggling. So AMC is deciding to change how you buy movie tickets.
Do we give it for
Let's
free?
see. I wish. So AMC theaters is starting a three-tier ticket pricing plan. Those seats up front will be called the value tickets and will cost less than the middle tier standard seats, or the preferred tickets, which comes with those better middle seats. So essentially, they're gonna, the ones up front, the ones way up front where you're like trying to make sure you don't break your neck looking at the screen. Those are gonna be like the value ones, the cheaper ones. The ones in the middle, they're like everyone wants to sit at. Those are gonna be a little more expensive, and then Indeed. Just anywhere else, basically, it's just gonna be like your standard ticket.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, this program is gonna roll out. Let's see, it's called this new pricing program is called Sightline. It'll roll out throughout the year, and it doesn't look like it affects matinees, but rather shows that play after 4 p.m. The website will show the seating option and the price tag that goes with them. So, do you think this is gonna be a successful idea? You think people are gonna like? What do you think about it?
Okay, so here's my thing. If people weren't buying the tickets before, what made you think that ranging tickets up was gonna help? Like, you think people weren't buying tickets because they weren't getting the middle seats?
I mean, the
Like,
other thing I could think of is like, obviously, I doubt, especially on most nights, unless like some new movie drops, to like they're selling out, these theaters, and so whenever a couple people do go to theaters and it's pretty empty, like they're gonna try to sit in those preferred tickets, and like if they can get people to pay just a little bit extra to sit there instead of having to sit on the side, then maybe it gives them a little more profit. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really make quite much sense, but I'm just trying to think of how what they're kind of going at.
um, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, I think like what I'm thinking of is a lot of the movie theaters already do like you pick your seats.
Yeah,
So like you just gonna make me pay more because I want to sit in the middle? That's gonna make me not want to go to the movies anymore. Like
I mean,
obviously, you already try to hit movies whenever the tickets are cheaper, but now you're gonna put another obstacle in front of me. Now the tickets are more expensive just to get into the spot I really want to be at. That's not gonna be like advocating for me to be like, man, I really want to go to movies now. That's gonna be like,
and then
man, I really want to go to a different movie theater now.
and then what's stopping people from like buying the cheaper tickets and then like, oh, no one else is here. We just
Exactly.
gonna move.
Nothing stops you unless they really want to hire staff because they're already struggling. So let's hire staff to actually go and check tickets.
Bro. But so this is AMC. Do you feel like cinema's gonna follow, or you think?
No, I think cinema is gonna probably sit there and wait for AMC to fall, and then take all the AMC people.
It's just kind of like 'cause the movie industry did take a big hit after the pandemic. Like,
Yeah, like who's out here really going to movies now? Well, one, who's going to go watch movies, but I'd say also what movies are there out? Last year was a
yeah,
flop in
for real.
movies, bro. Like there was not much movies out there. Like even if I wanted to go to the movies, there was never a time really where I was like, man, I can't wait to go watch this. Now this year is gonna have hella movies. It seems like coming out that people are really interested in seeing. You know, with the Wasp, the Ant and the Wasp, Quantanium,
All right.
or Quantumania, something like
Is
that.
that the one that just came out, right?
Yeah, I think it just came out.
Yeah, I heard.
That
I
one,
think it had bad reviews.
it does have bad reviews.
I think that's what I saw. I haven't really looked into it that much, but
That's
go on,
wild.
go on.
Creed 3 is coming out. Um, there's some. I know there's a lot of other movies coming out this year, but I could see an influx of people going this year.
Well, question. As a dad, what's a reasonable age that I can take a toddler?
Hmm.
3?
I'm trying to think because you got to get them at an age where, well, one, they can sit down long enough. That's a
Hmm.
long time to have a kid sit down in a place where they're supposed to be quiet when obviously all they want to do is make noise. Um, Honestly, man, that's hard. I was gonna say like
5?
5.
And yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess it kind of depends on the kid a little bit, but yeah, like definitely the most, or any 1, 2, and probably 3-year-old probably gonna want to move around, and then I don't
Make
want to be like, oh,
noise.
here,
They hate being
or-
quiet.
right? I don't want to give them a toy. I don't want to give them like a phone to watch, like, a YouTube video. Here,
Here's a
watch this.
tablet. Here's your tablet.
Playing like, and so yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, cause I like going to the movies. you know, the whole experience and everything. Like, especially when, you know, movies were popping, like, you know, watching in game and in theaters, like that's just a whole different experience. Like you get the crowd effect with it kind of thing.
Yeah,
Uh, and I
crowd
kind of hate that.
clapping unnecessarily to stuff.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time the crowd's like, it's cool to experience it with the crowd, but sometimes it'd be like, bro. I remember we went to go watch A Quiet Place when it came out.
It was
Bro,
anything but quiet.
it was anything but quiet. That movie there was like popping. It's like, bro. Um, that's because it was like a whole bunch of like high schoolers in there. It was like a whole class. I don't know. I don't know if they took a fucking field trip to the movie theater or what, but
That's
I
probably
feel like me and Leslie were like the only like adults in there. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the reason I don't really go to theaters anymore because
because the
I mean I could
kids.
just drop. I mean I could give Ava to a babysitter and stuff. But it's like,
Yeah,
eh,
especially if it's just like a movie date or something like that. She obviously not gonna care
yeah, I get you, but
until she starts getting like interested in like certain shows and stuff.
hmm
That's probably like when she'll actually start being quiet in movies, when she actually starts noticing like, oh, I like this, and I'll sit
right,
here and watch this.
like all those like animated, like you know those Disney movies and those
Yeah,
children movies and stuff. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Speaking of movies, I will just a little quick little note. Uh, I will say the movies, like taking someone to the movies is the worst first date, in my opinion.
you said tickets.
No, like taking someone to the movies for the first date, I
Uh,
feel like that's like the worst one, like the worst
I'm
idea.
trying to think because like I think that was really like one of my first dates with Kayla.
I just feel like, you know, you're not talking to that person the whole time you're watching a movie.
I'm a
I mean, I
goofy.
get if
I'm
you go,
like I can tell you, I'm probably one of the worst people to go to movies with, because I'm a goofy individual and I like to make fun of characters when we're watching. So I'm gonna have
oh,
you
bro, I do
cracking
the
up.
same.
I'm gonna have you cracking up while we're watching, and it's not like I'm over talking the movie, but I'm gonna be like, nah, that nigga know damn well that he shouldn't have done that shit. Like I'm that type of person. I'm gonna make those side comments and stuff like that at movies because I like to be interesting. And I don't know, I just like to be joking around, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of people I like going watching movies with, just making you crack up. But yeah, I feel it. Uh, you got anything else about or that story?
I'm feeling judged about the whole movie thing. But obviously, I feel well. One thing I'm gonna say about the movies, like, okay, I understand what you're saying about the movies being a bad date, because that is very true. That there's not too much talking you can do, but there is like it depends. It also depends what time you get there as well. Like if you get there early, you got that time to talk before this movie starts, and stuff like that. And it's a kind of be it's the place to make a move, bro. Whether it's the little hand move, like you know, I put my hand over you, you know, maybe a little, you know, hand touching here and there, and you know, touching, you know, this is like I feel like the movie is a very intimate thing sometimes, like getting close. You got to get the depends what movie theater you're going to too. You got to get the movie theater with the little armrest that goes
Oh
up.
yeah, true,
You know what I
true. I get
mean?
saying
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
you gotta
work with what you got. Yeah, I get you
exactly.
saying.
But also, the movie can't be the only thing on the date. Like, it
Oh
gotta be the
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
after that, go out to eat. Like, if it's just a movie and then you just leave, y'all might as well just be friends. But a lot of times it's a movie and then go eat somewhere. I think in mine and Kayla's situation at that moment, I think it literally was just the movie. But it was like the movie, but then we talked a lot afterwards.
hmm
But I don't even know if I would consider that our first date, because if you ask me, you ask her, we see two different first
I'm about
dates.
to say,
So,
about to say.
but hey, it is what it is. To each his
Well,
own.
comment below what you guys think about going to the movies on the first date.
what's
Try to get,
a
you know,
what's a success like? What's something that you would like to do on a first date?
yeah, there you go. You know, try to get more people engaged in our comments.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking you too. Like, what is something
Oh,
that you like to do on your first date? Like, go out to eat?
bro, Olive Garden. No, I'm
All
just
the
kidding.
unlimited bread and, and salad. You ain't gotta pay for nothing. You
No,
want?
actually, what I like for first dates like going to like arcades, main event
I
or something
love
like that.
arcades. I'm
I love
100%
that's
with you on
yeah.
that.
I mean,
And
that's one of my favorite dates like overall. But so I think it's just good first date too, though.
Anything that you make you interact and kind of get to know a person. I love going to
We got like,
arcades with Kayla because she is super competitive, and she doesn't
yeah,
think she
exactly.
is, but she's really competitive. I have a very competitive nature, but I'm also not braggadocious about it though. Like I'll compete the hell out of you, but I'm not gonna beat you and be like, your face, you suck. Go sit down. Don't ever play this game again. Like, um, so I like to try to think I'm kind of humble when it comes to that, at least.
I feel you. I feel you. Um,
But that is a great first date.
take notes, guys. Take notes.
All right, so for this next story, we're gonna talk about your boy Usain Bolt. He ends up firing his business manager, and missing 12.7 million. It's put a damper on me. So it says Usain Bolt is still missing 12.7 million in investment money and kicked his business manager to the curb. This is the latest update from the Jamaican athlete on Friday, January 27th. Yes, this is an old story, but we're telling you guys now. And he said, while he laughed at a question about being broke, Usain also explained his financial loss has been tough. He said, I'm not broke, but it's definitely put a damper on me. It was for my future. Everyone knows I have 3 kids. I'm still I'm looking out for my parents, and I still want to live very well. And hey, Usain boy, I
Bro,
keep saying ooh.
I like how he said everybody knows I have 3 kids. Bro, I did not know he had
I
three
didn't know he had three kids either.
kids. But hey, you do you.
But Usain Bolt, he did work for that money, so I'm all for it, man. So he said a local private firm, Stocks and Securities Limited, was in charge of Usain's funds, but this month his account dropped from over $12 million to about 12,000. Jesus. Usain reportedly discovered the missing money on January 11th. Bolt and his team gave the Kingston-based firm until Friday to return the funds or face criminal and civil action. Still, AP says it's unclear if the company responded to Usain's demands. It says additionally, Usain revealed he fired his business manager Norman, named by the Jamaican Observer, but Bolt was tight on the details behind the firing. It's unclear if Pert is directly involved with the missing money. He said he is fired. That's pretty much all I have to say. It wasn't amicable. He was fired. So Vic, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel about the whole situation of missing money and managers? And this happens quite a
Yeah,
lot
I was
with
gonna say,
a lot of people. It happened with
yeah,
Rihanna.
yeah, because I mean, people, once they get this money, like a lot of celebrities or people just in general, once they get so much money, like they're trusting, they get a manager or whatever, they kind of just trust them, like, hey, here's all my money. I want you to kind of manage it,
Here, take my
and they
money.
don't really like, they don't really like check in all the time. Like, let me see, let me see the reports and things. So just one day they just kind of, I
Check their
guess, notice
account.
over time. Yeah,
Just check their account as everything's gone.
yeah, because I mean, for the most part, managers, like people, accountants and whatnot, they kind of know like how they can. They're not gonna. Most of the time, they're not just gonna take a whole lump sum. They're gonna take like small amounts that over time so that they won't really notice.
Yeah.
Or at least that's the smart way to do it. So it's kind of like,
These guys were like, let me just remove a zero. A couple of 3 zeros from this account.
right, or like this trip, it only cost 2,000, but I'm put 20,000 instead. And I'm pocket the 18. And so yeah, I mean they have tricks and stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there who probably like their manager kind of pocket a little more. It kind of sucks because it reminds me of that J. Cole lyric, like what's it say exactly? It's like I gotta hire someone to make sure what you count up is right or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget. You know what I'm talking
He
about? You know
talked about Rihanna on that one too. Yeah,
what
so.
I'm
Well, no, I think actually Kendrick Lamar talked about the Rihanna thing. I'm not sure if J. Cole also talked about it. But everybody was talking about how like her manager or something like that, whoever her financial person stole a lot of money from her.
Yeah, it just sucks honestly for because these celebrities are putting so much trust in these managers,
But
and it
man,
just
that's a significant amount, bro. Like to drain him of that much money and expect like nothing to happen is wild.
right. But at the end of the day, the guys got fired. I wonder. I mean, how's that work? So like, obviously, whatever. Say this guy spent all that money, and he can't pay it back. Like, does I know obviously he'll probably end up going to jail and stuff, but like, does Usain Bolt get like money? Like, does the government pay out the money, and then
No,
the guy serves?
the guy would still have to be responsible for paying that money. Like if he goes to court and he wins the civil suits, whatever, it's not gonna be just that guy. It's gonna obviously be that company that has to pay him
Ah,
back.
true. Company,
So
true. Yeah. I was gonna say, what if this guy doesn't have it? But the company, I can see the company probably does have it. So,
if they
um,
don't, they got to figure it out. So or go to jail and still have to figure it out because it doesn't just go away.
right. Uh, but
And it's not like
Usain
parking
Bolt,
tickets.
I'm just speaking.
Just go to jail for a couple of days and it's off the record. Nah, bro, you still owe that 12 million when you done.
That's a long couple days.
Yep, crazy. Watch the people you trust, and if you're gonna hire somebody to be in charge of all your financials, make sure you're checking your financials as well.
For real, or have someone like double check this shit or something.
You gotta give people people you trust. So that's a big responsibility.
For real. But with that being said, I guess that kind of wraps up our stories.
Yep.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at nowhearmeout.kv.
KV,
Go ahead and email us at nowhearmeout.kv
KV,
at gmail.com. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow our YouTube at Chris and Vic parentheses NHMO.
NHMO.
And hit that bell notification. You guys know what to do. And then go ahead and leave us 5 stars on iTunes.
5 stars.
Follow me on TikTok at weirdvic_flips. Follow us on TikTok at Now Hear Me Out Podcast. And make sure to check out our shop at nowhearmeout.myspreadshop.com.
And make sure you guys are following me on all my social medias and stuff like that: Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. It's all the same. Beast Mode Chris, where the E's are threes. That's Beast Mode Chris, where the E's are threes. Other than that, if you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, make sure you click on that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys, love y'all, and we always appreciate the support. We will catch y'all next week. We are out of here. Peace.